Wizard World Philly, the time has come. Make some noise for Mr. Ian Somerhalder!
It would take, like, the entire Marvel cast to fill this room with a panel.
It's a very large space.
I think at Comic-Con, I think Hall H, I think is 7,400.
Yes.
And it's like the whole cast of a show that there's no way that we could fill this thing. Guys, it is really good to be here with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How are you?
There's a lot of love out here for you, sir.
And the love is so incredibly mutual.
That's right, that's right.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, this is not your first time to Philadelphia, though, right?
No, I just haven't been to Philly in a long time. I've had a lot of fun in this town, and when I was a youngster, which is now a very long time ago, I was a model living in New York City, and I used to come here. I used to take the train up, and I had lots of clients in Philadelphia, believe it or not. But the history, like, you know, I live in California now, and I live. Oh, you dropped your gun. You know, and you forget there's the history that's here. I mean, this is like one of the birthplaces of this
country.
This like great, crazy ass, confused, amazing nation. But it's really great to be here, and I'm grateful to be here. And again, this is not about me, listening to me babble. This is about hearing from you guys and hearing questions you have and the things that you want to know. And I want to try and bore you as much as I possibly can.
No bore, never. Never bored. Remember, everybody, there are microphones over here, so if you do have questions, feel free to line up. We're going to start on this side and then bounce back, all right? Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Which side?
We're going to start on the left side.
Oh, left side, sorry.
On the left side.
Hi, I'm Jen, and...
Hey, Jen, I'm Ian.
Hi. And I was just wondering, with the flashbacks in Vampire Diaries, was there ever a time period you wished you had gone back to that, you know, we didn't see Damon have on screen?
Oh, the 20s for sure.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I mean, going back to the 1860s was fun, but it was a really turbulent kind of, it was just great to see Stefan and Damon as young. That was a horrible, horrible place in time and history. It was pretty wild because over in Europe and places all over Africa and the rest of the world, South and Central America, people were just crushing life and having a blast. And over here, we were literally killing each other. But the 20s would have been such a fun time to portray. I mean, not to be like too cerebral about it, but you know, they didn't call it the Roaring 20s for nothing.
Right.
Also, the 20s of the lifespan of a human being, the 20s is also a crazy ass time. But if you think of the parallels in history, you look at like the crash of '29, right? Turn of the century, things were popping. You had cars, you had electricity, you had medicine and stuff that no one had ever had, and life was just kicking ass. Poetry, art, copious amounts of alcohol consumption.
Legal and illegal.
Yeah, legal and illegal. But it was an explosion of culture and architecture and art and music, and women were just really finding their stride. Women's suffrage, they were like, no ankles? Screw you, here's my ankles. Not only here's my ankles, here's my cleavage, here's the painting I just did, here's the house I own. It was just like on, right? And it got us to the crash of '29. Very much so like the 90s and the 2000s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s sort of got us to the crash of '08. We have these cycles. And I was part of that crash in '08. I remember when it all kind of fell apart, looking at my accounts and stuff and just thinking like, well, at least I still have my house, and at least I still have my clothes. There are a lot of people that don't even have that. Greed, mismanagement, deregulation, all that stuff. But the reality of it is that you see these great parallels. Like, we just party our asses off. We're not a self-regulating animal. So just beware, once we just get cranking again in society, and we put all of our differences and stuff behind us, and once art and music and stuff starts cranking, and I think we maybe step away from these little digital devices that we're all so stuck on, and culture starts to happen again, just remember, when the fire gets really hot, just remember sometimes that big metaphorical pail will come down and extinguish that fire, and steam will burn us all. So enjoy the rise of the fire, but just remember, you don't want to go out like Icarus.
Right.
It's not how high you fly, it's how long you fly high.
Well said. Yeah.
But it does give you these parallels, shooting those flashbacks, especially being in Georgia. And the first flashback we ever shot was in this antebellum mansion. And we turned it into a street of like the 1860s, which took a tremendous amount of production value and energy and artisans and stuff. But it was one of the original, some of these little towns outside of Atlanta, Sherman came in, and rightly so, just burn it all down. Some of them, those towns that had friends that were Sherman's friends, begged him not to destroy those towns, and he marched past them. Those are the ones still standing. The road that we were shooting on, like where the horses were coming and stuff, was with a road that Sherman marched down. And here we are reliving these flashbacks of the 1860s, and there's another house. It's on, that haunted show?
Files or?
No, I think it's like top 10 haunted or whatever.
Yes.
So there's a place called Gaither's Plantation, and about an hour or so outside of Atlanta. And Old Man Gaither was the first man to ever be hung for I guess, murder after the abolition, after slavery was abolished. This guy, not a very happy guy, refused to give up his slaves, and so he killed like 150 people.
Wow.
And we were shooting on this land in his house, all dressed up in the 1860s, and it had to have been just such a head trip for these ghosts, because they were like, what the hell is going on here? And Tyler Perry had just been shooting in the house the week before us, and it's crazy shit. Like, your hairs on the back of your neck stand up, or your arm, if you're a guy, like we have them. And Tyler Perry, they were shooting a scene, and they kept hearing this piano, and the sound guy is like, guys, we gotta stop, turn off the music, we're rolling. And there was no one playing music.
Wow.
This is something that happens at this place all the time. It's fully there. It is the property as it was. It remains as it was during and after the Emancipation Proclamation. And it is a piece of history, but it's dark American history. And, it's just amazing to just live in this, wonderful world of acceptance and love. And it's pretty,
absolutely.
We want to be there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hello.
What's up?
Hi, my name is Priscilla.
Hey, Priscilla.
I just wanted to ask, I one time saw a fan pic of you as Nightwing. Would you do that, like, for a DC movie or something?
You're going to kill me. I don't know who Nightwing is.
Oh, allow me to...
Who's Nightwing? What does Nightwing look like?
So...
I'm sure I know. I mean, I'm a Warner Brothers baby, so...
Batman and Robin.
Right.
Robin grows up, becomes
Oh, Nightwing.
There you go.
Yes, okay. Copy. Yes. Would I play Nightwing?
Yes!
I mean,
Do it!
if they offered that to me, which I highly doubt they're going to, yeah, of course, that would be a blast.
Absolutely.
Be in a big Warner Brothers DC movie. Oh my gosh, yes. Please. Thank you.
Oh, no, I'm not going to drink.
I'm gonna have a beer.
Fine.
Thank you, Tony.
Tony, you're the best.
My poor agent and my lovely man that protects me, we travel the world together, and sometimes when you're giving, and I know it sounds so funny, it's not like I'm an alcoholic, but you know when you just get, look, energy exchange is energy, right? Like, we all talk, and I get to share your love and your energy, and I give you as much as I have, and at some point, coffee, tea, everything I can put in my system, all these great immunostimulants and B vitamins, and another great thing is when you get tired, remember your body is an electrochemical reactor. One of the best things you can give it is salt water. Unless you have high blood pressure, then don't listen to me.
That's right.
Water, quarter or half teaspoon of pink salt or sea salt, and a lemon squeeze in it. Crush that, boom, goes straight into your adrenals, your brain wakes up, everything wakes up. When all of that fails, and it has, just crush a beer. And it's immediate, it's literally carbohydrates. I don't know if you know, this is where beer came from.
Right?
Beer came from Egyptian women, of course. Thank you, men. Thank women for pretty much everything in life.
Shout out.
Including your life.
100%.
Egyptian women, 6,000 years ago, they made beer to preserve grain. Because during the dry months, there was no food. And the easiest way to get carbohydrates was beer. So I'm getting my carbs.
There you go. Boom. Hello.
Hi. Hi, cutie. What did you want to ask?
What's your inspiration on Vampire Diaries?
What's my inspiration for what?
Vampire Diaries.
Oh.
Inspiration.
You know, I gotta tell you, I mean, there's a lot of inspiration. One of the things that inspired me was the things I've been through in my life. You know, there's a lot of different ways of being an actor. You can pull from your life,
Right?
past, present, future, and sort of infuse it into what's going on in the scene. And it's a pretty simple yet complicated way of doing it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I've lived a pretty rich, pretty chaotic, insane life. But at the end of the day, people used to ask, you know, Damon, he knew things I knew. He knew what it was like to be hungry. He knew what it was like to be in love. He knew what it was like to be heartbroken. He knew what it was like to be in a fight with his brother. I made these things as personal to me as I possibly could,
Right.
so that they created a level of vulnerability that hopefully at times, varying degrees of success, came across on the screen, and you guys were dumb enough to buy it. So that's
It was
really
authentic.
And then you inspire me a lot too, kiddo, by being courageous enough to get in front of all these people and ask a question.
Absolutely. Make some noise right there.
Thank you, little sister.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Adam. I wanted to ask about the times when you directed a few episodes of the show.
The best times ever.
Yeah.
Tired times. But I had so much energy. You just go, 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 go. I mean, it's the most magical experience. I'm in no way comparing myself to this. It's at some point in my career I will be at that level. But last night when I was flying on the plane here, it was unbelievable how many people on this flight were watching A Star Is Born. And this is only coming from a guy that's directed like 5 episodes of television. So let me tell you something. What Bradley Cooper did in that film is nothing short of incredible. This man is a real artist.
Absolutely.
Holy shit, what he got out of that film, and the actors and the cameras, and having that incredible DP and the pool of actors he had in the script. But it's really a feat. And yes, there's a lot of kind of crap out there. People can be lazy, but it's the attention to detail that great directors pay so much attention to detail, because in life,
right,
when you're sitting here and we're having a conversation, exactly, you're picking up everything around, all the nuance of your environment, you're picking up. A good director will give you that on screen.
Absolutely.
And I will tell you, it is not easy to execute that with the time and money you are allowed, without exorbitant amounts of preparation and willpower. I'm so grateful that Warner Brothers and the powers that be, Julie and Kevin and everyone, let me direct. It was a really amazing turning point for me in what I do. And that skill set has just been really such a fun part of my life. In V-Wars, which is the new show.
Oh yeah.
Don't clap yet, you haven't seen it, no. Listen, even if you do see it and you don't like it, just leave it running on your screen so that Netflix knows people are watching this thing, because
there you go.
I really want a season 2 pickup, and I can really just go above and beyond creating that world that I'm talking about. But I only directed one of V-Wars, and I'm glad, because it probably would have killed me. I wasn't a showrunner. I'm not a self-generating producer, so I'm a non-writing executive producer, usually just starring. But when you really break it down, you start producing something. I mean, producing from the ground up, like I'm doing on this show. It is, I think if anyone knew what went into a 35, 40, or 60-minute episode of television, they wouldn't be so harsh. The amount of ATP production and planning and energy and money and time it takes to produce one episode of television, which is why it's so crazy that people do produce so much crap. Like, if you're gonna go and spend time away from your family, take years off of your life, why wouldn't you just do it to the absolute best of your ability? But I plan on honing in these skills as a director and really kicking ass with it. But it's been really an amazing thing. I mean, I landed last night. I was up editing V-Wars until 3 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
To come here. But I've been in post-production for 8 months on this show. A 10-episode show. I've never heard anything like it. It's not like this is Game of Thrones. It's not like it's a 20-day, $15 million episode. Like, this is a vampire show. Who knew I would leave vampires only to get back into vampires? And I married one, exactly. But it's an amazing genre, and I'll tell you, I haven't really talked about V-Wars at all, but the reality of it is that it's, this guy named Jonathan Mayberry wrote it. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. It's a huge piece of IP. There's 5 books. There's tons of comics. The graphic novels are badass. And this guy, Jonathan Mayberry, put together this series of books that he wrote a lot of, edited the rest of it. But it's all so relevant. It was written in 2012. And the crazy thing is that it's dealing now with everything we're dealing with right now as a species. climate change, borders, fear, war, medicine. It's all the stuff that is bludgeoning us over the head, but in the books and the show, we don't have to bludgeon the viewer over the head with it. It's actually just part of it because we're living it. So it doesn't feel like it's outside of us. Like, you know, if you look at the deck stacked against humanity right now, it's a deck that we dealt ourselves. You couldn't write this shit.
You wouldn't.
I mean,
that's for sure.
You wouldn't be able. Yeah, it wouldn't be. You wouldn't think it was true. You're like, there's no way this like such a smart, amazing species could basically put itself in a place where, in, 10 years it's going to be at this pivotal point, and 60 years, basically, because of what we've done to our soils. You know what's crazy? We have 60 harvests left of soil on this earth. 60 years of harvests. That's it. Going currently where we are. That's another movie. I'm executive producing a movie that's actually about regenerative farming. And it's going to change your entire view of not only your life, but of the planet you live on, and how easy it is to get out of the situation. That's a whole other conversation. It'll blow your mind. It's pretty amazing. But why I signed on to do V-Wars was I'm not playing a vampire. I'm a scientist, which is something I always wanted to be.
Nice.
And I wanted to play a character that was such a departure from Damon, that wasn't a snarky, rich, like kind of floaty, aloof guy. I wanted to play a character whose superpower was just being a great dad, which is all I can ever hope to be as a superhero.
Clap for that.
But, oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I learned was in this whole situation is people don't want ordinary heroes. They want extraordinary heroes. And I'm excited to roll this out. It's been a journey, a year of my life. I had never tried to star in, produce, direct, and sort of help run a television show while having a 9-month-old child. No one explained that one to me. But the thing about this and the whole parenting thing is that the only person other than your significant other who can play the role of their parent is you.
That's right.
So you can't muck about. You got to be present. And boy, it's been one hell of a journey. And so I hope you like it. I think V-Wars is going to come out. It's slated for December. I don't know, honestly, if I'm going to be able to deliver a show by December. We are going to be able to deliver a show, but just check it out.
Absolutely.
Just check it out.
Woo!
Sure.
Thank you. That was very informative.
Thanks, man.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
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 She said he's famous. My one question would have to be, if you could pick one scene or one episode from Vampire Diaries, which one's your favorite and why?
Honestly, I mean, the most fun episode of that show for me, I mean, there was a lot. We had a lot of fun. But in the scene that sort of encapsulated Damon and who he was and what he did was the one where he and Vicky are running around the Salvatore mansion. She's in her underwear.
Of course.
And they're just sucking each other's blood and getting high as kites and just like blood. They're drinking, they're dancing. Damon's up in the rafters doing the Damon dance.
Can you do that dance?
I've retired the Damon dance.
Yeah.
Why?
It was really so fun, that thing. And it was just like, I remember watching that episode and thinking, this is a really fun world that we've created. And I remember, because it was episode 5 of season 1.
Right.
And I remember finishing that episode and then seeing it on air and thinking, I went to Paul Wesley's apartment. We could sit and watch it. And I was with a very dear brother of mine who had just flown in from LA to be with us. And that episode finished, and the three of us looked at each other, and we went, holy shit, this is going to be around for a while. Like, this is a hit show. This is an amazing little world we created.
Awesome.
Cut to 8 years later.
Yeah.
Now cut to almost 10 years later, I'm still here talking to you guys. So it's your fault that I stayed on the air for so long. I'm really grateful.
Great.
But I mean, literally, all jokes aside, you guys kept us on the air, and thank you, because
Absolutely.
what I learned from this experience and what I got from this experience is life-changing, to say the least. But it gave me the confidence and the wherewithal and the resources and the balls, really, to go out now and to create my own stuff that hopefully won't suck.
Never could.
You know?
Yeah. Not at
What's up, girl? Hey, thank you guys for your question, you little cuties.
Hi, I'm
Good job.
Karis.
Hey, Karis.
Do you have anything that you wish
Are you wearing
could
a
change?
tutu?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Solid.
Yeah. Thank you.
When I was directing my first episode of Vampire Diaries, to make things more fun and keep things going, for like 2 full days, I wore a black tutu.
Of course.
Real.
Yeah.
Do
Great.
you still have it?
It was wardrobes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Talk to me, Karis.
Do you have anything that you wish you changed about your portrayal of a certain character?
Yeah. I feel now, after playing Damon for so many years,
Right.
and I knew this sort of in it, and I just didn't know how to change it. When I was on a show called Lost.
Hey.
You were literally, I think, a zygote when it came out. How old are you?
14.
Yeah,
15.
you weren't even born.
That's my birthday.
No, you were born. Yeah, you were like a month old.
Yeah.
I was 25, and I had a very serious, kind of crazy, awesome life up until that point. But I took myself, you're 25, you're idealistic. Off screen, I was crazy. I was 25. On screen, I was so serious. And I took this character so serious, seriously, it's an adverb, I guess, that he wasn't that much fun. People liked him. I think they just felt more sorry for Boone. Because he was so wrapped around his stepsister's finger.
Yeah, quite a bit.
But I wish I should have played Boone with a lot more levity and found that balance, right? Because, A, he probably wouldn't have gotten killed first season. I was only late twice. I don't think it was that. I never complained about the food. Although I did have a really bad... when we were shooting that pilot, I had heavy metal poisoning. I didn't know that.
Whoa.
And we're in Hawaii shooting this big show, and you're waking up in the morning, and by like 8 a.m., 10 a.m., you're eating like tuna poke, like just pounding coffees and eating fresh, amazing fish on the beach. Well, I started going head to toe hives.
Whoa.
Because your body has this thing called a toxic border, right? If you think of like a glass cup, right? If you take a cup, you take a pitcher of water, and you pour the water into the cup. Well, at one point, the water gets to the top of the cup, and then what happens? It starts to spill over, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with your body. When you saturate your body with heavy metals or chemicals or whatever it is, your body gets to this thing called a saturation point. It's a toxic border. And once it starts spilling over, what happens? Side effects,
Right.
all kinds of crazy stuff. It's a great metaphor for life. Well, every time I would eat a piece of tuna, which is like 6 times a day,
Right.
my whole body would break out into hives, like head to toe hives. Now, for production purposes, this is a nightmare.
Yes.
Because imagine you have no continuity. Your actor looks like. Did you ever see that movie Hitch?
Yes.
Remember Will Smith when he ate? I looked like Hitch.
Whoa. I mean, that's attractive.
Not really. And I remember this one thing, and I was like, oh man, am I never going to work again? J.J. Abrams, I was supposed to do this scene in the pilot of Lost where I was supposed to take, when you like pan over on this beach, and I think I was supposed to be like helping someone or do something, but I was like a pretty 25-year-old guy. I was supposed to have my shirt off. And I had to say to J.J. Abrams, like, dude, I can't take my shirt off. Because I need like an hour and a half of makeup because I would have to be sprayed. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, trust me, it's not that I have like body shaming issues. I'm 25, I've been in the gym for the last like month getting ready for this. I am covered in hives because I'm an idiot and I don't take care of myself. Now, J.J. Abrams being one of the single biggest director producers in the world, period, I look back on that and just say like, J.J. Abrams is not one of those guys you say no to.
Right.
But I had to. And but I don't think that's one of the reasons Boone died. I think, going back to your question, it's just because I didn't play Boone with any levity. Boone was a stick in the mud, but he was a sweet guy. Thank you. Thanks, Karis.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up, girl?
Love you.
Love to you too, man.
Okay, so my question is, oh my God, this is happening. Okay. My question is, in the Vampire Diaries, who is your favorite villain out of the 3 Ks, as I like to call it? Catherine, Klaus, or Kai?
Oh.
And why?
They were all amazing on their own. Klaus really ticked me off because he left and went and got his own show.
Rude.
Oh my gosh, we were so, by we meaning Paul and I, were so bitter with the originals because we lost all of these amazing actors. Like, those were our peeps, dog. Right. And they had all those great accents. Hello, how are you guys? What panel are you coming here to wait for?
Yours.
What did she say?
Firefly's next.
Firefly, oh yeah, that's a big one. So stupid they canceled that show.
Right?
Well, you're gonna have to suffer through a very quick Vampire Diaries panel right now. Klaus was an amazing, Joseph Morgan is an insanely beautiful actor. Catherine was a blast. I mean, she was such a crazy bitch. Really
Says lovingly.
Really well designed character, but she was mean.
Right.
There were very few redeeming qualities about her, except was really love, and she was honest.
Right.
She loved Stefan. All good. Klaus was amazing. He left us. Kai, on the other hand, Chris Wood really is a phenomenally talented man. That character scared me. I remember thinking, do we really need to be broadcasting this to the world? Like, is this really something we're doing with our lives right now? And the answer was a resounding yes. Kai was amazing. He was the worst villain I've seen on television because it was so simple. You know, we didn't have $2 million an episode for effects and stuff. You just had this guy saying all the worst shit you could ever imagine about anyone. It was really, it was pretty amazing working with him. I'd have to say Kai.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's great to see you. Go fast. Sorry, it's my fault. I've been going so fast.
It's all right.
Oh, look at all these lovely Firefly people. I'm going to suck you in and bore you to tears. Yeah.
Vampire Diary conversation.
Vampire Diaries.
Who knew?
Hi, Ian.
Hey, girl.
Hey. So my question is,
Next question. Anyway.
No.
I'm joking. Talk to me.
Apart from your acting career, I know you're very involved in activism, and you're pretty involved in other causes like animal rights. So my question is, what got you into activism, and at one point did you start?
Since I was a kid, I always wanted to do this thing. My parents, I grew up in southeast Louisiana.
Hey.
Very delicate ecosystems. My mother and father both taught me that if you take too much away and you don't give enough back, everything breaks down. And to be honest with you, and I'm so super proud to say it because I ended up going into Hollywood and, by social standards, doing very well. I grew up very poor in Louisiana. But it was also the 70s and 80s and early 90s. You didn't have to have a lot. We had everything we needed.
Right.
Family, you could still be poor. You had a boat. You still always had a motorcycle and a horse and saddles and bridles. And my parents worked their asses off. We went to great schools. But my family, the men in my family were hunters. So they, ducks. We had ducks that out of the marsh. My uncle had a shrimping company, so we had fresh seafood. My brother and I had crab traps, so we used to check in the morning at like 5:30 in the morning before school. And we had an entire boathouse with hundreds and hundreds of crabs and soft-shell crabs and shrimp and fish. And we had more food. Like, now being an adult, go to a sushi restaurant in Malibu and order Louisiana blue crab. It's like $40 for a little thing like this. I lived in this abundance of nature.
Right.
But when you live off of nature, you realize the balance of nature. And when you take too much, you throw that balance off and everything dies. And what you also really realize, and this is not to be too dark or cerebral about it, but we need nature. Nature doesn't need us. If you've looked at the course of history of the world, the earth has reinvented itself 1,000,000 times over. The earth doesn't need us. We need it. So whatever you can do to instill that, if you're an educator, a parent, a friend, a cousin, just remember that. It's hard to do sometimes when you live in a big urban area. Nature doesn't need us, but we undoubtedly need nature.
Listen, I hate to be that guy, but we're at the time.
Oh, wait, one more. Go. I'll be fast, I promise.
Hi.
Hey, sweetie. Tell me.
I'm about to enter that stage of college, so I just wonder.
What stage?
I'm about to go into college.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, do you have any college advice for me, where to start? Because my friend wants to be a director and a screenwriter.
What are you studying?
I'm studying astronomy to become an astronomer.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Solid move right there.
Right.
Listen, here's a crazy thing. I'm the worst for college advice because I unfortunately didn't go to college. But I wanted to go to college, and it was a huge, weird thing for me for years. I had this weird inferiority complex. Not inferiority complex. I felt inferior to my friends who had gone to college. Meanwhile, I was a professional traveling around. I had 3 apartments in 3 countries, and I thought something was wrong with me because I didn't go to college.
Wow.
Then I met a guy named Bill Gates, and he told me he didn't go to college either. And I was like, I felt okay about myself after that one.
Context.
But I want my kids to go to college. And one of the most amazing things is, and I think that what they don't get out of college is, in this world, particularly in this country, kids are supposed to go, and parents are going to want to kill me, but kids are supposed to go into college at 18 years old and know what they want to do and have the pressure of spending their parents' money or their own money and do all this stuff. It's a shame that kids can't take literally a year, go work, go travel, find what makes you tick. But at 18 or even 19, if you don't know what you want to do, it's actually okay. Study smart, not hard.
Yes.
And you'll learn this once you burn out over and over and over again. You'll run your body down, because you're going to want to cram in as much social atmosphere. But the reality of it is, you will learn a lot socially in college, but you have the span of your life. The more you dive into college and school and education, Education leads to enlightenment. It's just the thirst for knowledge. That's all you have to have. And in that college environment, by the way, it's not free. You're paying for it.
That's right.
Suck every single ounce of energy and nuance and positivity you can out of it to build the life that you really want, to be like a really great, amazing member of society. That is what I take from school, because every person I know, when they got out of college, they had this massive debt on their hands or heads, and no way to pay it off. So if you go into a field that you love, it's not going to be so traumatic. And you'll actually end up finding out who you are in that thirst and quest for knowledge. What is that? What's the acronym for fear of missing something? Or fear of missing out? Yeah, FOMO. Dude, FOMO is the biggest waste of time.
There you go.
Because missing out on what? You know what I mean? What are you missing out of? I now live in the country. We have horses and dogs and rabbits and shit, and so many people in LA. They go, oh my God, how can you live out there? You're so far away from everything. And I look at them and I go, what do you call everything? Because to me, animals and trees and clouds and my family, that's everything to me. So find what that everything is to you. Thank you guys so much.
Make some noise.
Being amazing. And Firefly people, I'm sorry you had to sit here and listen to this vampire shit, but thank you guys so very much for the love and energy. And Philadelphia, you've been so good to me. I adore you. I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking me on television for 8 years.
Absolutely.
Nothing but blessings and love to you all. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end. You can subscribe here to subscribe to the channel. There's more videos off to the left. Mr. J says, don't forget to ring that bell button for more notifications.